What is up, Facebook? It's Amanda Fisher from AmandaFisherCoaching.com, and I help moms freaking explode their self-confidence using simple but powerful food and movement strategies so that they feel incredible in their bodies and also like don't have to take a lot of time to do that so they can get on with the business of living their life, right? So you may have seen me here for the past couple days. You'll see me more often in the future. In every single episode that you see me here for, I can promise you one thing, that I'm going to deliver you one strategy that you can take with you like today to implement into your food and movement routine so that you can get out of the weeds, explode your own self-confidence in your body and in your mind, and do it in the fast-tracked way without a lot of complication and stuff attached to it. Cool. So let's talk about it today. What happens when you have a bad eating day or even a bad eating, let's say, week, right? Everybody kind of freaks out this time of year because the Reese's peanut butter pumpkins are out, and then that means like Thanksgiving's around the corner and then the holiday season, right? And we tend to get into our heads about what we would call bad eating, right? And so that's what I want to talk with you today. We're going to do it quick, 10 minutes or less, all right? So here's what happens. Having a bad eating day, while you can get into your head about it, or even a bad eating week, I don't care if it's a day or a week, right? What you constitute as bad is whatever. We'll talk about that in the future. But having a bad eating day or week is actually really, really, really not a failure. It's a really good thing, right? It doesn't always feel good to have that bogged down feeling of a bad eating day or that bogged down, like lethargic, like I feel a little bloated, I feel a little funky or whatever. That doesn't always feel fun. But the beauty of a bad eating day is that it's really freaking great feedback and it's not the end of the world. So take the two things that I'm about to teach you today, like today, if you had a bad eating weekend, right? And implement them right now and you'll literally like propel yourself forward into feel good land freaking quicker, right? Than like letting yourself sit in bad eating land and whatever, right? The non-productive place where we can't really ever get out of that cycle, okay? So here's the magic. Healthy eaters aren't always super healthy eaters, right? Healthy eaters, the people that eat healthy consistently, don't always just eat healthy foods. They just know how to handle all eating situations so that they can like make adjustments and get right back to the business of feeling good. Right? So, and they kind of just know in the back of their mind that there isn't like a magic healthy food and there's not a bad unhealthy food. Food is just kind of like food. And when we just learn how to like ride the ebbs and the flows, right? Or did I say that the right way? I don't know. Anyway, it's Monday. It is what it is. Here's what we're going to talk about. My client last week inside of the Power Plate Challenge, I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about that, she freaking rocked this. And so I wanted to talk about this today. So raise your hand if this ever happened to you, right? You have like a kid's game to get to, or you have a kid's activity to get to, and you're racing around trying to get things done, and you realize, okay, well, we kind of forgot to eat supper, or I left it to my husband to cook supper, or whatever. And so we're getting to our kid's game or activity, and we didn't really eat supper, so we're just going to like eat popcorn, right? That's what happened to her last week. Or let's say it's not popcorn for you. Let's say it's like, well, I kind of tripped and fell into like the entire bag of regular ass size Reese's peanut butter pumpkins, and now I'm not hungry for supper. Cool? Has it ever happened to you? I mean, that's happened to me. Let's be honest. Like we're not going to lie here. So here's what goes down. You feel kind of like, oh, that wasn't really ideal. That didn't make me feel good. And then you can kind of feel a certain way about it. I wish I wouldn't have done that. That makes me feel like crap. I got to get back on the horse, right? I should probably eat a salad to make up for that. No. Right? So my client last week did a really freaking great job. She had popcorn for supper. Here's what actually went down during the day, because she's a healthy eater, because she knows how to work the system and to make everything work for her instead of getting trapped in like this unhealthy eating cycle. All right. So she knows, bless her heart, that healthy eating doesn't just happen in one magic meal, right? Or with one magic food, or every day for 6 days in a row, she had like perfectly planned healthy things to eat, right? She knows that healthy eating happens like all day long, and it's a sliding scale. It's a range, right? So she kind of had an inkling earlier in the day, okay, we have this stuff going on tonight. there's a really good, we might end up blowing supper, right? Or we might end up eating popcorn for supper and calling it good. She had this inkling in the back of her mind, right? So instead of stressing about this, pay attention. Here's where your two-step strategy comes in. She was like, oh, cool. I'm going to do myself a solid and I'm going to make sure that I eat some yogurt earlier in the day and some fruit. Cool. She just front loaded herself some protein and some produce earlier in the day. Was it like a perfectly planned healthy supper? No, but she also knew there's a good chance we're going to have popcorn for supper because life is happening around me and this is what I have the energy for. I'm going to do myself a solid and hand myself some protein and some fruit earlier in the day to like get me going and kind of front load some of those healthy eating foods into my life. So they're not just gone and I just chew my arm off and eat all the popcorn, right? Or like turn into popcorn and then all the Reese's peanut butter cups, right? Cool. She looked forward, or she kind of controlled what she could in the moment because she was planning ahead just a tiny bit, right? She didn't plan a Tupperware meal. She just knew that there was a good chance that it was going to be popcorn night for supper, right? Cool. That's awesome. So what she did was she kind of like had the range of health for the day. That's it. She just knew that this was going to happen. So how can I get some extra protein in my life because popcorn for supper might be a thing tonight? Hey, Christina, I hope you're doing well. How can I get myself some extra protein in my life because I know popcorn probably isn't going to carry me very far. While delicious, it's probably not going to carry me very far in the satisfaction scale, right? Keep me satisfied for hours. Hey, Anna, how are you? The second thing that she did was like, hey, how can I get some produce? I know that I might miss some. Like popcorn doesn't, I mean, it's kind of a carbohydrate, right? So where can I get some extra produce in my life? I know I'm going to have a side of fruit with my frickin' yogurt. Boom. Simple. And then along the way, I can't remember if it was before the popcorn supper or after. She ended up, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a protein-rich like addition. Like I think it was some cheese sticks or some deli ham or whatever to kind of round out that, giving her that extra boost from a little bit extra protein in her life. So inside of the protein, the Power Plate challenge, I teach you the 4 components of like healthy and satisfying eating. Making sure we get protein, making sure we get produce, making sure we get carbohydrates, and making sure that we enjoy this sucker, right? It's something that we can do and that we can live with. So she was like, all day long, I think we're going to have popcorn at the game tonight, or while we're watching the game tonight, I'm going to make sure I kind of front load that protein and produce a little bit and do myself a favor so I'm not starving my face off all day long, right? That's a solid. The second thing that the second part of the strategy that I want to teach you guys is that it's really, 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 really easy to hang on to, I suck, I ate I ate popcorn for supper and that's it. Or I suck, I fell into the Reese's peanut butter pumpkins and that's all I ate for supper and I suck, right? No, you can hang on to that and you can beat yourself up for that, or you can just like keep stewing about it, or you can do the second part of the 2-step strategy. Move the hell on with your life. What's the next meal, please? Let's move on there, right? When we hang on to things internally, like you build them up, you beat yourself up for things, and then they just keep hanging around, kind of impacting your next meal choice or your next whatever. Literally, it's a meal in time. It does not matter in the grand scheme of things, so we're just going to take that and kind of put it away, right? It's a data point and it doesn't really matter, right? Now, if we ate popcorn for supper every day of the week and chased it down with a bag of Reese's peanut butter pumpkins, we might talk differently about a strategy, right? But when you have those, I had a bad day at eating, I even had a bad week at eating, right? Because it's a super stressful week or whatever. That is like a moment in time, and it's not something that we stew about or hang on to or try to beat ourselves up for, right? We're human beings. It's fine. There's a lot happening in life. And the quicker that we realize that healthy eating is a range of foods and knowing how to handle like the ebbs and the flows, the bad eating day, and even the good eating day, and not making it mean something about us personally, holy crap, you guys, this so gets way more easy and it gets way more freaking enjoyable. You guys have any questions? Go ahead and drop them if you do, okay? I'll answer them in a second. So I want to repeat this for you. What's the strategy that you can take away with today in case you find yourself eating like the whole bag of Reese's peanut butter pumpkins for lunch in 20 minutes? Number 1, it's fine. It's one meal. right? What can I do to be flexible here? How can I round this out a little bit? Let's say you did have 3 Reese's peanut butter pumpkins. How can you round it out? Could you give yourself an apple? Could you give yourself a cheese stick to give yourself a little bit more protein? Could you add a salad on the side of those Reese's peanut butter pumpkins? What could you do to kind of get the components of a power plate meal in there, those 4 components, right? What could you do? And then look forwards and backwards. Did you eat mostly healthy meals yesterday? Cool. Let's not stress about this one, right? Are you going to eat a nice supper tonight? Cool. Let's not stress about this lunch, right? Let's just move on from it. And that's really the magic of it, right? There's no one healthy way of eating. There is just simply knowing kind of how you operate in the moment and where you're going to, have a harder time and where times are really, really easy and you are actually planned. And just having like the forethought to kind of think about that and do yourself a solid along the way, right? Any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. But here's what I want you to know. I actually guide you through this step by step inside of the Power Plate Challenge. It's 30 days with me, live, like accountability and support, and we walk through this in your real life. We start with supper every night, and then we actually work backwards. Then we go to lunch, and then we go to breakfast, and then we kind of troubleshoot out snacks and like hunger and all that kind of stuff, week by week. And really, it's just 30 days of you applying healthy and satisfying eating and exactly these strategies that I taught you right now as well into your life, in the life that you're living. Like, Christina, I know that you're a nurse and you work at a hospital sometimes overnight, and like that gets crazy, right? You can't always control every aspect or when you can sit down and eat a meal, but there are certain things that you can control, right? And we just freaking maximize those and like develop a flexible plan for the other situations. Christina says beef jerky and pumpkin seeds. That's my quick go-to, especially at work. Yeah, when you can't get a break in the ER. Exactly. So you did yourself a solid. You got some protein in your life, right? That's awesome. That's super. Like, you were like, hey, I'm going to be busy. I'm probably not going to have time to even breathe my own air and eat my own food. So I'm going to get myself something that I can have quick in between bite type stuff, right? That is awesome. So that's it, you guys. 2-step strategy. I want you to come back here today and let me know which one you implemented. And I also want to know, if you have any questions on the Power Plate Challenge, don't hesitate to ask them as well. And if you want my 30 days of like literally like live meal by meal support and accountability from me as we unfold this your way into your life, we do that inside the Power Plate Challenge. AmandaFisherCoaching.com/plate. Happy freaking Monday. You're a healthy eater. Healthy eating does not happen in a vacuum of like, you made a mistake, so now you're an unhealthy eater, right? It happens in a wide range, and don't worry, you are completely able to handle that when you kind of know how to roll with it. Cool? Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.